Okay, so the first thing that I do, I import the two different types of walks that I have downloaded, Mixamo walks. One of the main things that I kept in mind while importing them was making sure that the model that was used in the Mixamo was the same thing. So there is no mismatch of the resting bones or anything as of that sort. Of course, it'll still be there, but just in a much more of a lesser amount. So yeah, I downloaded two separate Mixamo walks. So walk A, this was a pretty feminine normal walk, and walk B was an ogre's walk, like a monster's walk. So the task was to manipulate the rig B in such a way that it copies rig A. So these are the two different types of rigs, and we can see how different they are from different angles as well. So we see that the major poses, the contact pose, the touch pose, the up pose, and all the poses are slightly different. And also, one of the walk A, that is a feminine walk, was about like 35 frames alone. And walk B, the august walk, was around like 42 frames. So in order to see how the graph works, especially in the thigh bone or the other bones where there's a lot of movement, I decided to go to the object mode graph editor. But before that, I had to go move to this one, change the mode from object mode to pose mode. So I select the thigh bone because that was the bone that there was a lot of visible difference in. The space between the legs in walk A was slightly lesser as compared to walk B. I first click on the thigh bone and then go into the graph editor to see how the curves are depicted. So basically here what I tried to do was to compare the graph curves of both the thighs of walk A and walk B and figure out what the difference is and how where exactly the change exactly is taking place. So I moved to this one particular frame where there was a movement or there was a change, there was an abrupt change. So I tried comparing them and I tried matching them like I've done previously before. Uh, Although it is not recorded in here, I tried matching the y-axis particularly to make sure that it matches the location of that. And so, but as we can see, it did work. Of course, it did dismantle it did disorient the rest of the bones. So this basically showed me that I had to adjust the graph curves of other bones as well in order for this to work. And even though it was possible, this was not very accurate and it is a very time consuming and laborious task. One of the main things that one person needs to keep in mind, especially when transferring the values, is that there needs to be a pre-required knowledge that needs to be present when trying to emulate another walk because most of the animation things that would be given would not be for a normal human to human kind of a transfer. It would be a human to monster or anything as of that sort without any in real life reference. So for those, you need to have pre-knowledge, pre-existing knowledge of how how the animation works, where the contact pose works or how it works, how much weight is being this one used, how and exerted and all that thing. So this method was not that much of a success. So I decided to proceed with the next one. I imported both my walk rigs again. So what I wanted to do here was I wanted to see if I can match the bones to their corresponding contemporaries from the other rig appropriately and see if I can emulate the walk that way. But here I had to also keep in mind that this was also going to be a laborious task. So I wanted to make sure I try to do it in 4 to 4 frames, or in one of the major, or in only the major poses, like, either the contact pose, up pose, and all the other poses where there was a dynamic motion that was taking place. So I decided to open the side view in order for me to be able to match it more accurately. I also noticed that there is a difference in the pacing of both the walks. So I tried to move the hip joint first and then try and match the bones accurately, the position of the bones accurately. I tried matching the frames in all the important frames, all the bones in the most important frames, like the frame 6, for example, where there was a dynamic motion happening, and then I moved 4 frames further. In the frame 10, I tried matching them again. But although there was a seamless transition or seamless movement from frame 1 to frame 6, but there was a glitch that was happening from frame 7 where it had to be manually re matched again. So this method was pretty much a failure as well. So I moved on to the next method. So similar to the previous two times, I imported the rigs, walk A and walk B. So this time I tried something called as retargeting, which is basically getting the animation values of one rig to be transferred to the animation value, to be targeted to the animation distance of the other rig. So I wanted walk B to imitate or emulate walk A. So first what I did was download this one plugin called Rococo. So you have to just create an account in that, and once you do, you have to install the plugin and then put it to use. So here what I'm doing right now is I'm just making sure that the world access values of both the rigs are the same, are 0, world origins are 0. Then I go to edit, preferences, add-ons, and then I go and turn on the Rococo plugin. So once that is done, it will automatically show up in the left. So once that is shown, that shows up, you have to click on it, sign in with your password and Gmail, or if you can sign in directly through your Google account as well. So once that is done, I click on the retargeting drop down. So here in source, I choose walk A because I want walk B to emulate that of walk A, emulate the walk of that of A. So I choose the source to be walk A and the target to be walk B. We can do it with the dropper icon or the dropper tool. So once you do that, you'll get a bone build, an automatic bone build kind of a thing. So where you get to, and one of the main things that you need to keep in mind before while you're prepping both the rigs is that you're supposed to rename them in such a way that the software doesn't get confused between the both. So you're supposed to manually rename them. So, and also, but rename them in such a way that it is recognized. I mean, you can recognize and you can make sure that you can match the bone to bone. So so it's already automatically matched. All the bones are automatically matched. But in case if some bone is missing, you can manually enter it as well. So once I check if each of the bone is matching its corresponding bone from the other rig, it's so once I do that, I remove the auto scale as well so that it doesn't cause any confusions. And then I go ahead with retargeting. So once you do that, the values from walk A is transferred to walk B. So now if we play it, we can see that the same style, the walk follows the same style. I'm sorry, the rig A follows the same walk style as that of rig B. But of course, this is not perfect because there is still a little uh, changes or little difference that you can see in when it comes to the angles and the position of the bones. Although the style is very similar, this could be mainly because not all of the bones, one of the reasons could be that not all of the bones are being matched exactly the same. And the second thing is that the origin position of both the rigs being different. And the third, because of the movements and all those things, originally positioned when the rig itself was downloaded, when the rig itself was uh, added to the model, there would have been some difference in the rest poses and all the poses of the positions of the bones. So because of that too, this could be have been caused. So I decided to manually match the bones now. This time this was easier because since the style was already the same as that of walk A, all I had to do was some minor changes, or that's what I thought. But here also I had to manually uh, adjust each and every one of the bones. But although it was not as laborious as the previously doing it without any base or something. Now I had a reference, and there was also like this it almost like prepped the bones of the rig A. So this was much easier this time. So all I did was match all the 42 frames of rig A to rig B, from rig A to from rig B. I was very satisfied with this because eventually I did get the walk A to walk B to imitate walk A almost perfectly, almost seamlessly. So far, this method seems to be the only one that is actually promising. But the one issue that I noticed was that the side view was perfect, but the front view, there was a single minor glitch in one of the frames. And I did the grave mistake of trying to blindly just fix it based on reference or just blind reference or something like that without actually checking the graph editor. In this one particular step, if I had actually checked the graph editor and tried to match it, basically essentially mixing both method 1, method 2, and method 3, I think that this would have been a seamless execution. But I messed it up by trying to do it on my own. And this could have been easily fixed though. So far, the promising method of doing this is first by retargeting and then matching it manually. And the third one would be to check the graph editors and smoothen out any sort of minor inconsistencies too.